Saskatchewan after, I truly believe with all my heart, you could look at Good Spirit School Division and use us as this model division to model the rest of the province after. Thank you.
Last thing I'm going to ask my friend Deb to talk about a classroom teacher perspective. She, I think, maybe was surprised when Donna phoned her, and I was really thankful that she said yes, because Deb's got a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience. And when we embarked on some of our initiatives a few years ago, she wasn't one of the ones that necessarily agreed off the hop. And she told me she didn't agree with some of it. But I don't know if she's completely converted, but I see fantastic things happening in her classroom and with the students that she serves. And she's going to talk about what's happened for her.
Oh, I think he's picked me because I've been around the longest,
No.
actually. I've been teaching for 27 years, and I've taught in a variety of schools, everything from a school with 30 students, and my classroom itself was K1, 2, and 3, to the school I'm in now. We've got 500 students and staff, and I teach a 1-2 split with lots of diverse needs. And what I've experienced is really different from teachers teaching in a large city would experience in their careers. I've experienced 2 amalgamations in the time I've taught. The first was when our small rural school division amalgamated with the City of Yorkton schools, and then the second amalgamation was in 2006, and that led to working in a considerably larger school division. The first half of my career was spent in rural schools with local boards. Small schools, often the local school board members' children were either in my class or in the school community. Their understanding of the school community was already there. It was just a natural part of their lives. And then as we amalgamated, I also taught in the school division where, at least initially, many board members wouldn't even have known my name. But the important piece about that is the fact that even as the school divisions got larger in size, they still allowed for board understanding of the communities in their division because they never got that big. Our current board and local administration, because of their relatively manageable size of our division, they still are a part of our school and local community. Every year in June I have something called the Author's Tea, and the purpose of that is to celebrate the growth in the children's writing. Now the kids are all 6, 7 years old, and they write, they illustrate, and they present these stories to their families, which is an audience of about 100 people. These students, in the short span of 10 months, evolve from not knowing the difference sometimes between a number and a letter, or a letter and a word, or a word and a sentence, and then by the end of the year they can express their thoughts in complete sentences, they have creative ideas, and they're often really highly entertaining stories. Well, because I wanted to celebrate the growth, I always put up a display that shows their very first efforts at writing at the beginning of the year, as well as their year-end samples, and the growth is just unbelievable. Well, a few years ago I decided to invite our school board members and central office staff to the Author's Tea, because we wanted to show off our writing skills. Most of them came, and their response was amazing. They hadn't really realized what children that age were capable of doing. And they're extremely impressed by the growth the students had shown. Now, and I really believe attending our Author's Tea gave them a different perspective on student learning. It gave a face to the data they see at board meetings. There's still one school board member that comes every year because he just likes it. When board members and local administration are able to be parts of events like this, I think it helps them to know our reality. The influence and the support of our local board is often evident too. We've had portable classrooms in our school for many, many years, and they were in dire shape, way past the expiration date. And our local school board persistence eventually led to significant renovations in those portables. They listened to our concerns. They spent time touring the school. They experienced the freezing cold in those portables, the curling in the missing floors, the curling tiles, and they ended up They got it fixed. Now there's a fight in our staff who gets to go to it. It used to be called Up in the Ghetto, and no one wanted to go there. Now everybody would like to teach there. That's the nicest part of our building. And the fact that they're part of our local community, I think impacts the support that they provide for us. We run the risk of sacrificing these types of relationships and supports if our school divisions become too large. And I believe these relationships are critical to the learning of the children. And building relationships takes time. Every time we amalgamate, we start building relationships all over again. I've been there, done that. It always takes a while, a long while. I've been exposed to lots of change in the course of my career, and I think change can be good as long as it has a positive effect on student learning. I'm not scared to embrace change. I've done it a lot. But there's a limit to how much change a person can understand and implement before change burnout takes effect. Change takes time. First you have to understand it, and then you have to implement it in the classroom. And then it takes time to see the effects and the benefits of that change. It can be good, but too much change creates disruption in student learning for long periods of time. And when change comes that's not guided by student learning, it creates situations where it's really difficult to see the positive side of it. I believe that at its heart, education is supposed to be about relationships. Relationships between student and teacher, relationships between teachers and central admin teams, and so on. And I worry that at some point we can get too big for these relationships to be built and to be sustained. And at that point, the education of our students will unquestionably be compromised.
Thank you, Deb. I wanted just to thank Rod, Michelle, Dawn, Kelsey, DJ, Lois, Melissa, Amanda, Bob, Thad, Deb. Thank you all for your words. Thanks for the effort that it took to put those words together into sentences and paragraphs that fell within the 7-minute time frame. I appreciate that. I think if it's okay with the panel and the board, we'll maybe throw it to you for questions, and then I know Steve probably wants to say something because he has an opportunity. So,
Hard for me to sit on my hands for a minute.
Steve, if you have something to say, I think, because we have another group coming up shortly, so if you want to make some comments.
Well, I'll just chime in on what the others said, and if I could just reiterate the evidence of the value of the decentralized manageable school division, where you get community input for facilities, the Landenberg School, the Millwright program, what happened at Esterhazy School, with your issues there. I mean, I think the local input, the enthusiasm, the energy that the community itself has is considerably greater when it's at the local level than when it would be if somebody from Regina phones out and asks somebody to check it out, I think what we're here to do is we're kind of in a philosophical struggle between centralization and decentralization, and over time it's gone back and forth, and the pendulum swings back and forth. Government policies, social mores have gone back and forth, and now here we are with education and governance. If the pendulum does swing fully to a centralized system, the centralized system would be based in Regina and Saskatoon with most likely an urban attitude or style. How do we protect, with a bureaucracy of a centralized system, how do we protect the loss of local participation in the education of our children? And, you know, I think Dawn said it right. Dawn, Mayor of Landenberg, if it ain't broke, don't mess with it. It's kind of a hackneyed phrase and it's used a lot, but in this case, I really think it could still apply. The government's trying to save millions. And I think by abandoning the local school board system, you're gonna save nickels and dimes. And perhaps a hybrid of we talked about, there's talk of one of the options being to adjust school board boundaries. Potentially, if that happened, that's one thing, but at least find a way to continue to have the local school board system. I think it's important, and to have local initiatives, programs, and community involvement.
Thanks. So, a theme, and I should test